Hello everyone, this is Emily Gunn and I am presenting to you my Module 12 tort liability presentation. So for starters, what is tort liability? Well, there are two different types of tort. The first one is the intentional tort, which is basically when someone or an individual attempts or basically intends to harm someone else. You do have to prove the intent or the attempt with intent to cause harm to someone else to prove an intentional tort. There's also a negligent tort, which you have to prove four things for negligent tort. The first is duty. There is a certain duty. You have to exercise a certain duty, which you may or may not have done depending upon what they're trying to prove. The second thing they have to prove is the breach or the breach of duty, that the person did not perform the duty they had contracted to do or prescribed to do. They didn't exercise the duty of care, the actual breach. Then there is the proximate cause and the injury, which I kind of feel go hand in hand. Basically, that because of the breach of duty, an injury occurred. So they have to prove that because of the breach of duty, the proximate cause, that the injury happened. The injury or the harm would not have happened if they would not have had the breach in the duty of care, or that they were not negligent. So now we're going to look at some cases that have to deal with some schools and that were being sued for negligence. The first one is Munn versus the Hotchkiss School District. This is where a 15-year-old student, her name was Kara Munn, was bitten by a tick during a school trip. They were backpacking and hiking. And because she was bitten by this tick, she contracted encephalitis, and it caused some neurological deficits and leaving her unable to speak. And her family sued the school for negligence. They basically stated that the school failed to warn them that their child might come into contact with a disease-bearing insect. And because they did not warn them, they breached their duty of care in warning them. The child was bitten and caused these damages. I think it's also important to note that the student or the family themselves failed to take their own preventative measures. Like they didn't say, hey, wear long sleeves, or here's some insect repellent, etc. The student's family did win and was awarded $41.5 million in damages. The school district is appealing this decision. If this were to happen in my school, I feel like the reactive measures would be, we would always require disclosure statements, and definitely file an appeal, and get attorneys involved, and etc. Proactive, and I feel like we do this now, is any activity that might involve students being outdoors to provide sunscreen, bug repellent, etc., and to encourage parents, hey, we're going to be outside. You need to be aware of these situations. And with the professional ethics piece, I feel like as teachers, we would treat all students like their own children, and to ensure that we are performing with duty of care, and ensuring that students are definitely taken care of. The second case I looked at is Leon versus Tillamook County School District and others. This family not only sued the school district, but also sued some other parties involved as well. There was a 4-year-old student who was left confined inside of a school bus. They were strapped in a car seat, asleep and unsupervised for approximately an hour. This child was receiving Head Start services on a smaller school bus, thus the car seat issue. No one knew that the child was actually unaccounted for. Nobody knew that the child was not there until the mother showed up at the child's school for a pre-scheduled parent-teacher conference, noticed their child wasn't there, and things pursued from there. The parent is suing for an undisclosed amount of damages. The monetary amount was not there. They're suing the school district, the Head Start program, the bus driver, the company that owns the busing, um, all of that. Reactive measures, definitely we would probably, at my school, we would probably place the employee in question, like the bus driver, on a paid administrative leave while we would investigate. And probably make changes to the protocol and, hey, make sure that the school bus, that you definitely are checking at every single location, not just hollering out, hey, anybody here? The child was asleep, so the bus driver needed a chair. Some proactive measures, install cameras on buses to ensure the diligence and job responsibilities, making sure that the bus driver is making a full-fledged sweep of the bus before they put the bus away for the day. A check sheet for the bus driver to go through. And, honestly, the Head Start program not recognizing that the child was not in attendance, they need to be diligent and, oh, a child is not here, making sure that a phone call is made so that they can track down the child. Some professional ethics here. Again, be diligent in carrying out our duty of care. We are entrusted with these children. We need to ensure that they are well taken care of and maintain that we are doing our job and doing it to the best of our ability. The third case here is Clark County School District versus Payo, which I'm not sure why that's not turned around, but that's how it was listed on the court case. So Payo, he was a student in junior high, and he was accidentally struck by another student's hockey stick during a game of hockey during their physical education class. The student required eye surgery and has had some ongoing issues. The student's family filed a personal injury lawsuit, and they basically were saying that too many students were playing at once. They were using the wrong type of ball or puck in this situation, that the equipment was not safe, and that selecting hockey as a requirement of part of the curriculum is negligent because it is an unsafe sport. The student's family did win. The school district is appealing the case. Some reactive and proactive things that I feel like my school would do is definitely, yes, we would examine the physical education curriculum to ensure that it is aligned with state standards as hockey activity that we need to be teaching. We would ensure that proper release forms are in place, that those would be signed by parents, and that student safety rules are taught, which I'm sure they are before this, but to ensure that safety rules of the facility use and physical education, that those rules are being taught by our instructor, which kind of leads into the professional ethics piece, that if the students are supervised, the physical education instructor is carrying out their duty of care and doing their job by making sure that safety and things are taken care of, then this wouldn't be an issue. The next case is Stevens versus the Des Moines School District. Stevens, who was a student, was beaten by another student by the name of Harris, who was known to have a violent nature. And I say known to have a violent nature. He was known by staff members and maybe by other students to have violent tendencies. Nothing really had happened other than he had threatened violence at other times. Stevens' family sued the school for negligence because they feel that the school did not warn others, like other students and families, of Harris's violent tendencies. So the school was negligent in protecting Stevens. This jury did find the school negligent, but its negligence was not proximate cause of the injuries. So the school was negligent, but they did not meet all four requirements of the negligent tort because of their negligence, it was not the cause of the injuries. The case went in and basically determined that Stevens had provoked Harris, which brought on the injuries. So my school, in a reactive nature, would definitely investigate the incident. They would determine the staff who should have been supervising the area, it happened in a common area, review the confidentiality laws and review the supervision requirements and ensure that places are being supervised. We can't really just say to parents, hey, such and such student might be violent, tell your kids to stay away. I mean, that would be a breach in confidentiality. So we'd really need to review and make sure that we are protecting all of our students. Proactively, we would make sure we would examine the supervision of all areas at all times, make sure that those things are in place. We also have some social emotional learning and character development courses going on, and I feel like for students maybe like Harris who were known to have a violent nature, that to ensure that those kinds of programs were in place for him. And again, professional ethics, be diligent in carrying out our duty of care and our job responsibilities. If we're supposed to be supervising students, ensure that we are supervising those students. And the last case is Mosley versus Portland Public School District. Mosley was 15, became involved in a fight with another student by the name of Griffin. Griffin stabbed Mosley several times with a box cutter. There were security personnel on campus, but none were in the hallway when the altercation occurred. Mosley was stabbed in the face and chest. He has permanent scarring and damage as a result. And Mosley and his family sued the school district under several theories of negligence. And the school district actually won this case. It did not give a lot of details as to why, other than, again, the student was provoked, and it was all stemming from some things that happened outside of school. Again, a lot of our reactive, proactive, and professional ethics things that we would do go right along with the previous fighting incident. Ensure that all areas are staffed at all time and being supervised by adults. These types of things would not happen when adults are present, or maybe they wouldn't happen to their severity. Again, these students with violent nature or violent tendencies would be involved in some social emotional learning and character development. And we would again talk to our staff about being diligent and carrying out our job responsibilities and duty of care requirements. That's all I have. Thank you for watching.